Time for the opening drive.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico.
For 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck.
Here we go again. It happens every once in a while, but when the big dogs get involved, it creates some chaos and questions about the future. Everyone's excited. It's media day. It's hope for the future. What are you returning? What are the teams going to look like? What is this season going to be like after so many teams might have played in different states last year like New Mexico or in empty stadiums? But now once again we're talking about the future of college athletics, not just name, image, and likeness, how that's going to affect things for the student athletes, but is college football going to dramatically change the way the game is played, how it's governed, and what does that mean for college athletics? What it do, everyone? Welcome into the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. JJ Buck, joined by Ned James this morning. Steph, don't call her Curry, producing, taking your calls on the Quan's Auto Care hotline. 246-0610 is the number. Of course, you can get involved as well. The NMDOT text line, 505-246-0610. Email the show, jj@sportsanimalabq.com. The Houston Chronicle dropped a big story yesterday that Texas and Oklahoma were talking with the SEC, and that would be the biggest shift we've seen in college sports if those two schools left the Big 12 to join the SEC. Because then the next question would be, what does that mean for everyone else? This is college football business season as well, not just media season. It's about the almighty dollar. So you take a step back and go, what is Texas and Oklahoma not getting from the Big 12 that they'd get from the SEC? A lot of money is coming in, but that means you're splitting the revenue a little bit more if they join the conference. Then you go, all right, when is their next TV deal up for negotiation? There's a lot of business, but the big picture is a move like that with Texas and Oklahoma, if they were to leave the Big 12, it's not just as simple as the Big 12 grabbing schools from Conference USA and the Mountain West and then feeling like they're still a power conference. You're going to have the Big 10, you're going to have the Pac-12, you're going to have the ACC taking a step back, going, is there anything else left for us to grab? And at that point, do we see a division within college football where it truly separates the power conferences from the group of five? But with all that said, good morning, Ned. How you doing?
Good morning. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me. College football Thursday. Getting ready to kick off the NFL season. This is a great time. Summer is in full swing. Just glad to be doing the show. Thanks for having me. This whole Texas OU thing is, business as usual. It seems to me, and I know it's all about the almighty dollar, but it's just politics as usual. It just always seems, and I hate to get on my Southern brethren, but it always seems like the South is always trying to secede from the rest of us. It's almost like the Civil War all over again, where Dixie is believing that the South shall rise again. And so they want to pool their powers in Texas and Oklahoma, who fought on the side of the Confederacy in the Civil War, and they're going to try to beat up on the rest of us and try to take over the country with their college football in the Deep South. But I think with politics being involved in it, it's going to get a little tricky. When you're starting to pull teams west of the Mississippi into the SEC, which Texas A&M and Arkansas did, it gets a little tricky. The politics of Texas are a little tricky, especially when it comes to the University of Texas. Oklahoma, that's a little different ball game there. But with the University of Texas, you could say whatever you want about A&M, Baylor, TCU, Texas Tech, which have strong political ties in that state. It's all about Texas. It's all about Texas west of the Mississippi and USC. That's it. Nothing else matters. It will be a political football from here moving forward. A&M could say whatever they want. I guess there's some word that they're trying to kind of lift their political muscle and keep Texas out. But at the same time, Texas is the big dog in the state of Texas, University of Texas. I don't care how much money A&M has. Everybody talks about how much money, how powerful the A&M booster and their stadium with the I guess the 100 whatever thousand people that can fit in that stadium, and how they pack it in and how they're strong. But anybody, you can say whatever you want. The University of Texas is Texas.
They're the power broker.
Yeah, and so it's not gonna be as easy as people think. Them just having this monopoly by moving into the Southeastern Conference. There's a lot of politics that are still left to be decided. I know people think it's all about the money, but a lot of times it really isn't. The politics will kind of they'll stick their head in there and see what it looks like, and then go from there.
Politics also lead a pipeline to money, donations, boosters.
Right, and there's boosters. There's boosters at Baylor, Texas Tech, and Texas that are just
money.
As powerful as A&M.
And that is why a lot of people go, all right, here we go again. Been there, done that with these schools kind of threatening to leave. What does that mean? Are they going to get more money in their television deals? What is the goal here? Is it just to jump to the SEC, or is it to really start pushing the envelope unlike we've ever seen before, just with the changes we've seen for the student athletes? Because Texas and Oklahoma, it seems like things are pretty good for them in the Big 12. It seems like they're probably running that conference in a lot of the conversations. Money-wise, it seems like they're doing pretty good. I know everyone is looking at the SEC and the money that they're still making, the money that they were able to still bring in, even going through what we saw last year, the COVID season, the lack of fans, a lot of places, and yet they were able to borrow more money on their upcoming TV deals, distribute a ton of money throughout the conference. But if you keep adding schools, that number is going to eventually come down a bit. So you take a step back, and you say, what does this ultimately mean? What direction does this take college athletics? I think this is really the first step in these power conferences, the Power Five in college football, potentially actually forming their own league. It's always been talked about, it's rumored, but now that those walls have been broken down in terms of student-athlete name, image, and likeness, those walls have been broken down by decisions made by the Supreme Court saying, yeah, you all are not really functioning like an amateur business anymore. It's big business. So we're seeing these schools, these presidents, these universities start to take a step forward to realize that, specifically when it comes to college football. So that could change the game. So what does that mean for everyone else? Well, I think eventually, much like we have FBS football, FCS football, we could see two separate divisions of D1 football.
But it's demographically driven. It's driven by the location.
Yeah.
We could talk about the monies, but it's all driven by location. The power centers in America are on the East and West Coast. So you can say whatever you want. If you don't have Silicon Valley and Wall Street involved, when you're talking real money, that's where the real money is centered. So as far as the South, like I'll say again, the South shall rise again. I lived in the Deep South. The Confederacy, these guys were.
Pac-12 have a new commissioner, and they're not going to just sit back and let this happen. They're going to try to join for the ride, as is the Big Ten, as is the ACC. Because guess what? Those guys don't care about the Mountain West. They don't care about the Sun Belt Conference. They don't care about Conference USA. So what do you do? If college football has a division, like there is this split between the haves and have-nots when it comes to money, does that destroy college athletics, or can we have a system where college football kind of separates themselves, because you still are going to have around 70 teams or so that are non-power schools that will need to play together, play for something, maybe potentially create their own playoff. So there you go. But can you have kind of football functioning on its own, but everything else remain the same? Because then the next big talking point, we're talking about football, talking about money. To your point, SEC Saturdays, here we go. I ain't here for just a power conference March Madness. Like, that is the one thing that, power conference teams, we see them, but that basketball is the one sport where everyone can compete, where teams from every conference have a chance to make noise in March. And if these guys take their football teams and want to start dictating everything in college sports, they're going to break the system, and it is not going to be enjoyable for college fans anymore.
I understand that with the football thing, and I still go back to. I mean, you brought up basketball, which is a good example. It's still gonna be demographically driven. It's gonna be driven by the location of where these schools are. The largest campuses in America are in the Big Ten. Minnesota, Ohio State, Michigan, all those places have the largest student body populations. It's not these southern schools. And football, yes, is a big deal in the South. It's people. This country is enamored with football, and yeah, it's kind of our pastime. It's kind of our number one sport, and they want to fill these stadiums up. But at the same time, it's location. Where these schools are located will make a difference, and where Texas is located, and where USC is located, and where Penn State is located in Michigan, and those places is going to make a difference. And so I understand, them kicking the tires on getting into the SEC, but I still think it's about the Deep South. I think it's a political football that we're going to see. There's going to be some action, maybe in Congress, maybe with trying to get a hold of all this, monopolizing of the sport. And, it could, kind of maybe be some intervention where they force some of these teams to stay in these conferences. But it's going to take it's going to take some time. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the TV deals with ESPN and Texas and all that stuff get hammered out and maneuvered if this in fact is something that these two schools are looking into doing.
And I think we're getting to the same place. Your point is right. The Pac-12, the cities there, the Big Ten, those universities, the size of them, they're not just going to sit back and let the SEC dominate. What they're going to do is hitch their wagons to that. And now with the NCAA not in control, with Mark Emmert publicly saying that this model needs to change, this is the first time that all this smoke can actually lead to fire in college athletics, where those schools in the power conferences, and it's not just, they're not just going to bow to the SEC. They're going to say, all right, you want to make that move? Guess what? Why don't we all just go play a power conference game? So what do you do if you're Craig Thompson? How do you address that if you're the Mountain West? And can college athletics still have the same model everywhere else and football be managed differently? That is going to be the biggest question, because I think it can work. And our very own Scott Stigler was saying it back in the day, and everyone was like, oh, no, Scott, you're crazy. But we might actually be getting to his model, which it was, all right, the group of five, you form your own division, you create your own national championship, you play there, and then you have your big dogs. So this is the first time that I can actually see a path to that model with everything that's been broken down outside of it when it comes to amateurism, when it comes to the pressure that these universities are facing. But my question is, do you like that moving forward? How would that change college sports for you? But the biggest thing, if it does start to affect college basketball, then we're in trouble, because then we have a big problem.
So what you're saying is that there's going to be the major leagues, and then the Mountain West is going to be AAA, and then there's going to be AA, then there's going to be single A.
This is the first time where I actually think it could.
It's going to be like a high school model, like the 5A, 4A, 3A system, whereas then the college basketball thing, because a lot of schools, it's cheaper to just have a college basketball team, and then the college basketball thing is wide open. So we play football one way, but you're going to play basketball a different way. I don't know if I've ever seen that model. Maybe it's similar to how different the Major League Baseball and the NBA has their G League, and the Major League Baseball has AAA, AA, single A. Maybe it's using different models for different sports. And so that's something that may come about. I still think it's demographically driven in this country with sports. And I don't know if everybody is going to want to take their ball and do what these football guys are saying they're going to do, since football is the big dog. So we'll see. We
got to take this break. That is Ned James, JJ Buck with you. Jeff Siembieda in Las Vegas for Mountain West Media Days. A lot coming out of that. We'll address the predicted order of finish, which we touched on yesterday. I had a fantastic conversation with Jarek Reed and Kyle Stapley this week. So the theme of global football is there's hope. There's excitement. Nothing is changing right now for them. They have a goal, and that is to compete in the Mountain West. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Jeff.
Datacom is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. Datacom has portable AC units for rent. Applications include server rooms, retail outlets, healthcare facilities, laboratories, convenience stores and truck stops, events, concerts, and weddings. All of these units are 120-volt plug and play. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to datacom.com to learn more. Datacom is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. Datacom has portable AC units for rent. Applications include server rooms, retail outlets, healthcare facilities, laboratories, convenience stores and truck stops, events, concerts, and weddings. All of these units are 120-volt plug and play. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to datacom.com to learn more. Datacom is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. Datacom has portable AC units for rent. Applications include server rooms, retail outlets, healthcare facilities, laboratories, convenience stores and truck stops, events, concerts, and weddings. All of these units are 120-volt plug and play. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to datacom.com to learn more.
Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. Mike, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Desk Live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
Center fielder, Caden Bell on first. Here's the pitch to Heath. Struck him out. And great pitching by Alvarado. That'll do it for the Tigers in the top of the fifth.
A great crowd for a mid-afternoon game. Swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout, number 5 for Matt Romero.
Smith talking to the batter here. That's a, oh, wow. Nice, and that's an out.
What did I tell you? That one's that gets over the head of the right fielder. That's going to bring in 2 runs. As Adrian Martinez with the RBI double.
Towards the latter part. Pitch, and that's another way for a single. That's going to score 2. That makes the score 9-0. So RBI double. That's going to make it. That's it. It's 10 runs there.
One O's a count. And this one's high. It's going deep. And it's going to fall in. He's digging for third, and he gets there. Ezra Mestas with the 3-bagger. He gets the triple, and 2 more runs scored.
Steal to third base.
He brought the hot sauce for strike 3.
Reed Fiegel this year. That one is hit on the line to the left. It's going to send Avila back to the warning track, to the wall, and he's going to watch it go. It's a solo homer off the bat of Bo Kidd. 1-0 Eagles. Just when we were talking about small ball, the Eagles played long ball. Good over with 2 outs here. That boy's well hit to left. Coming in on it is Morrison. He drops it, and the Ravens win it.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
But the framework is different now. And we've seen some of those walls be shattered for student athletes. Now, the way that universities are handling it, so the Supreme Court has told them about their business model, so now there actually is a different feeling moving forward for these power conference schools. So if you're Craig Thompson, you're the Mountain West, you best be on the phone and just having that what-if scenario with everyone else, with the Sun Belt, with Conference USA. Because guess what? Everyone thinks that call is coming. Boise State thinks they're going to get invited. Cincinnati, UCF, they're all sitting there going, you're going to invite us. We're going to be a part of this major shift. It's going to be awesome. Well, I'm sorry. If they haven't invited your blue turf yet, you ain't getting that call. I'm sorry, Boise, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
And so you best be proactive and at least have something on the table and not just be reactive to what could happen with college football. Yes, they're under the Division I banner, but these group of 5 schools they're still at the mercy of the Texases of the world, of the A&Ms, because they'll pay you $1.5 million to play a football game. You get a slice of that college football playoff pie. All these things involved, but you better be having the conversations going, all right, what if? If this were to happen 5, even 10 years down the line, what is the thing that is going to help us survive? How are we going to make our mark in the football world? Because Notre Dame will get that call to join that super conference.
Yeah.
No one else is. And so how are you going to position yourself to deal with it if it does happen? Because now more so than ever, I'm buying in that we could see a dramatic change in college sports. Still Opening Drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal. That's the what-if situation. That's not going to happen overnight. We have a college football season on deck. The schedule is set. Players are locked in, focused on what is next. And for the Lobos, big question mark is a quarterback position. And Danny Gonzalez yesterday was talking about Tavaka Tuioti. Hasn't been cleared yet. They're hoping to have an update on him soon. But first, I just hope everything is good with Tavaka.
Yeah.
He suffered 3 documented concussions. He was not cleared to play football last season after his last one. And this is one of the situations where we've moved on from Tavaka just because we're unsure of his health and how he's going to live as a person. And it's unfortunate. I think when you look at Tavaka, a lot of people saw the ceiling, saw the potential, and you could just never put it all together. But if you suffer head injuries, that's the ultimate, I can't put you down for that. Like, I'm not going to make you feel bad. Like, that's the side effect. That's the reality of playing contact sports, is stuff like this could happen.
Yeah, and you're talking about one of the most well-liked guys on that team, and so it's really difficult to see him not have to be a participant this season. But his health has to take center stage. It has to be first and foremost, and so I don't know if it's necessarily worth the risk of him playing. And they've got a ton of quarterbacks out there. I mean, there's going to be some stiff competition, even with Tavaka being there. So it'll be interesting to see if the young man is able to kind of participate, but not necessarily playing and help this team out in some way with the fact that the players really, really respect him. I see this whole Mountain West Conference as being interesting because COVID changes everything. The fact that, there's kids that are allowed to come back for a super senior season, a lot of teams are going to be pretty good, so it's going to be an uphill battle for the Lobos because a lot of these conference teams that they played last year are going to be strong, if not even stronger, with the fact that they've got some pretty good players returning as well. But also, it kind of mimics the NFL a little bit, where you could have training camp and kind of see where guys fit in, especially the new guys, and then you may, do some shaving and be able to cut, guys based on talent, as opposed to, just, letting guys, progress in your system, like you normally would do, because of the fact you have these super seniors that you're committed to, scholarship-wise. And so we'll see. I mean, there's not going to be as many incoming freshmen as a lot of people thought maybe, but you're still going to see this large group of pretty talented teams in the Mountain West Conference and other conferences as well, just because of the super senior season that they're having because of the COVID. So it's really going to be hard to judge.
Changed expectations for everyone, and especially Lobo football. The excitement around it is positive, but should they even be in this situation in year two? We'll talk about the expectations for the Lobos, but how they stack up against the rest of the Mountain West Conference. And there's still a team down south that has a schedule and has to figure it out after not playing football last season, just having a couple exhibition games in the spring. New Mexico State. We're sitting here talking about the effects that COVID had on all these schools. Well, that's a team that didn't play football last year, so how do they respond now getting back to that D1 schedule? The expectations for you need to be, I can do it. I'm talking about your fitness, your physical fitness. And with F45 functional training, just 45 minutes, you get in the gym, you get a high-intensity workout that's fast, fun, and results-driven, and you're going to be doing something new every day. I'm enjoying F45, and you will as well. What I like about F45 is the different challenge that it brings when you're doing full-body functional fitness. You have your strength days, you have your cardio days, but it's not just 45 minutes on a treadmill or an elliptical. You're still doing full-body functional fitness movements. We're going to push you past what an elliptical or anything like that would do. And it is a gym that is for everyone. And how do they do that? Well, they do that by allowing you to go at your own pace. You don't have to go in there and start with, here's two 75-pound kettlebells, have fun. No, the trainers are awesome, and they're there to motivate and modify. Everything is set up, and so once you get in, you work at your pace, whether you want to kickstart your fitness or challenge yourself to get to another level, you can do it. And if you don't believe me, try out a class right now. Download the F45 app. Take a look at the Northeast Heights location. Sign up for your 7-day free trial. Get in and get going. You can also check them out at F45training.com. F45 Training, team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Industries is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
For a little bit, as we still got a season in front of us. I will say, I'm telling you, SEC, college football, if you come messing with my college basketball, we're going to have a fight. Those are fighting words. If you mess with my March Madness, if you mess with men's, women's basketball, Olympic sports, which those teams do have a chance to compete, we're going to have an issue.
They're coming for your sports, JJ, just so you know.
And we're going to have to be on the corner.
Shall rise.
So we shall see how that works out for you, SEC. But until then, we are looking forward.
Gone with the wind.
College football season. Gone with the wind references. What are we doing?
South shall rise again.
What are we doing, Ned? Trying to connect with the younger demographic. And Gone with the wind references.
Oh, man. I tell you, living down south, boy, you learn a lot, boy. I thought I'd do history.
We're still talking about Gone with the wind down in the California. South. We have a problem.
Till I learned.
We have a big problem.
I went down south. They were having those Confederate parades, and I'm thinking, when was the Civil War? 1850. It's like last week when you're living down there. I was like, I thought the war was fought in 1851. It's like the Civil War happened last week when you're down there. They're having those parades and, the Battle of Franklin and Tennessee and all these. I'm thinking, man, they don't want to forget this thing, but
I think we saw a lot of that stuff happen last summer.
Well, we're trying to get past that. Like the new generation. I thought we had a new generation until I moved down there. I thought, man, they got Starbucks down here. They got Panera Bread. Okay, this is an evolved part of the world. Like my friends on the West Coast thought everybody was barefoot down there and on horses, but I was like, no, we have Panera Bread and Starbucks in Tennessee. So, but there is that little thing that's hanging over our head we can't get past, but we will. Football.
We do have the college football season on deck, and with the Lobos picked to finish last, that's no surprise, just from around the conference. And people looking at the Lobos saying there's still a lot of work to do, which there absolutely is. And everyone, starting with Danny Gonzalez all the way down, will tell you that. But the expectations for Lobo fan are so much higher than I thought they would be. And you touched on it. It's because of the super seniors. It's because there's 14 players that are coming back for year 4 or 5 as a college football player. The majority of them, 9, are on the defensive side of the football. You have a transfer in Terry Wilson, who we all assume is going to win the job, who's got the job done at the SEC, has played at that level. Like Lobo, and that's what I think is going to be so much fun, just seeing the reaction to this season, is that there should be, okay, we saw a little progress. And I think Lobo fans are looking at that number, and I'm talking about the win total, the over-under that was put out there, 4.5. A lot of people are thinking this team could chase 6 and be bowl eligible in year 2, which would be unbelievable for the turnaround. And you know what? I'm right there with them. When you look at this schedule for New Mexico this season, very manageable out of the gate. Yeah, you got to play Texas A&M, which could probably be one of the top 5 teams
Yeah.
And football, that's your money game. You got it. You got Houston Baptist, New Mexico State, A&M, UTEP right out of the gate. That is a great opportunity to start 3-1 and then get yourself into that Mountain West schedule. But it also goes back to just this is a year unlike we've ever seen. You're able to bring back guys at so many different positions and things we might assume, like a lot of people around the Mountain West Conference assuming New Mexico is in one place. I think we're going to be surprised by a lot of teams in this conference. And it's probably going to happen to me when I'm looking at a Colorado State going, I don't know if I see it this year, or Utah State. But until you really dive into the rosters and see the players returning and how much it's going to impact these programs.
Yeah, what'll be interesting is, like you said, the Terry Wilson bringing in a new quarterback. But, you know, people have got us on film a little bit now, so they kind of know Warheim, the offensive coordinator. Rocky, everybody knows Rocky, but Rocky's, you know, he's the Pac-12 killer, so, you know, you're going to always struggle against his defenses. So it'll be interesting to see. It's like I've always said, though, JJ, and I stick by this, and I learned the hard way. Been around, coached with a lot of great coaches, been around. You only sell tickets on offense. You got to win games on defense, and we've got the defensive master with Danny Gonzalez and Rocky. But special teams, I'm a little concerned with. You win championships with special teams. You get over the hump with kicker, punter, returners, those kind of things. That's how you win championships, with those specialists. And so I'm curious to see how that part of the UNM team comes together. I'm hoping that it matures from last season. A lot of people, that's kind of that hidden yardage that people don't really talk much about, that you're gonna have to pay attention to when you get into some of these close games. But it'll be interesting to see how the expectations are once we get into the meat and potatoes of the conference season. I think it'll be great. It's going to be exciting. I think there's some exciting stories over at UNM. I think the community is really behind this Isaiah Chavez kid, who they should have him on billboards out here. I don't see any kind of marketing or anything out there.
Well,
I would be, he should have a Rolls Royce from
name, image, and likeness deal, who he's signed with.
Did he sign already?
No, but you want to put him on a billboard.
Yeah.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching, yeah. Oh, okay. But the university could still do it.
Yes.
So I mean, it's something that I'm excited about the young man because I like him.
And let's talk about Isaiah Chavez for a second, because he's a fantastic story and he is a legend already. QB5 coming in, winning those last 2 games. But can you make Isaiah Chavez the face of your program if he's not your starting quarterback?
Sure.
Like, some people might not see that. There might be some of those fringe fans that go, wait a second, why is that guy playing over the local kid? The dude that you're putting on the billboards, the dude that's on the program. What's going on here?
Hey, they better find some Isaiah Chavez packages. You only selling tickets on offense. Offense, just don't turn the ball over. I coached on defense. All you think about on defense is, hey, guys, don't turn the ball over. Get us a good field position, and we'll do the rest. We'll win the game for you. Let's kick some field goals and win the game. Isaiah Chavez is a guy, didn't turn the ball over. That's the only thing I was most impressed with the guy. He didn't turn the ball over, and he kind of managed the game. And so, and I understand we probably need to quit talking about him because there's some really other talented quarterbacks on this team. But with that being said, it's all about, like you said, it's all about the marketing. It's all about the promotion. It's all about, having some fun. This city's trying to get excited about Lobo football again. And I know winning is what makes it exciting. And that's the only important thing, is winning the game. But if he gives you a chance to win the game, hey, let him help you win the game. But at the same time, like you said, we've got, this Terry Wilson is definitely a really talented proposition. But we have to have some hope, too. And I think people have a lot of hope with this Isaiah Chavez kid because he's a local kid. He's a New Mexican, and we always like to see our New Mexicans do well.
And he stepped up in the most unexpected situation with 0 expectations and won 2 conference games.
Yeah.
At the very end of the season, when this thing could have fallen apart, and it could have been a lost year for Lobo football. And that's really how big those last 2 games were. And going back to our conversation yesterday with Jarek Reed, Lobo safety is one of the 2 players that's representing New Mexico at Mountain West Media Days. And he talked about what those 2 games meant for the program, the fact that they did rally and win those games where it wasn't a throwaway season. They were able to pull something out of Las Vegas. And Danny's talked about it a ton. Like, they found out who really loves football, who wants to be a part of that program in Las Vegas. So it wasn't a lost season. I think that is one of the biggest takeaways for this year is, the challenges that they faced. They had to go to Las Vegas to practice and play an entire year, but it wasn't wasted. And that is why we are here in year 2 with so much excitement because of the work they were able to do last year.
Yeah, and I, as a former player, I only remember how much I love the game, and how you can tell how much you love the game is based on when it gets hard. Because when it gets hard, it's easy to tag out. You could say, hey, mama, I'm coming home. See if there's someone at the car wash that could hire me because I need a job. This is just too much. Because it's tough to get out of bed some days, from practicing, school, personal stuff. But eventually you realize, like Daddy says, there's certain people who love the game, and it will tell. In the end, you'll see who loves the game and who doesn't.
246-0610, the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. The excitement, the hope for next year, but on the horizon, is there going to be a seismic shift in college athletics, and is it going to be led by football, and what is the trickle-down effect? But until we get there, we can talk about the season ahead. 246-0610, the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. The NMDOT text line is 505-246-0610. You can email the show, jj@sportsanimalabq.com. Don't forget, catch us on ProView Networks as well. Adrian producing this morning. Comcast Channel 26 and on the social media feeds. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Shift. Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspets.com.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green and keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, Leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. DCE Systems want to help schools reopen and keep students, teachers, and staff safe. New Mexico's distributor of no-valent Shield Plus, an antimicrobial hand sanitizer that lasts 24 hours. That's right, 24 hours. 1 liter will provide approximately 2,000 individual applications. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to DCESystemsINC.com to learn more. DCE Systems is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspets.com.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Car Crafters is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. Datacom is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. Datacom has portable AC units for rent. Applications include server rooms, retail outlets, healthcare facilities, laboratories, convenience stores and truck stops, events, concerts, and weddings. All of these units are 120-volt plug and play. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to datacom.com to learn more.
Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. Micah, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You're watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
Center fielder, Caden Bell on first. Here's the pitch to Heath. Struck him out. And great pitching by Alvarado. That'll do it for the Tigers in the top of the fifth.
A great crowd for a mid-afternoon game. Swinging him.
The Giants just keep rolling. Blown save Kenley Jansen last night. San Francisco defeats the Dodgers 4-2. Giants 2 games up on the LA Dodgers in the NL West. 5.5 game lead over the San Diego Padres, who won game one of a doubleheader in Atlanta, 3-2 yesterday. Then game two was suspended due to weather. That is the best race in baseball this season. We thought it was just going to be Dodgers-Padres, but out of nowhere, the San Francisco Giants pulling something out of 2010. Like, how is this team putting it together? They're just playing good baseball, getting pitching. Logan Webb last night had a good game. Kevin Gausman rejuvenating his career in San Francisco. And at this point in time, we're deep enough into the season where the Giants are going to be a real problem. And with the Dodgers and Padres, it's only 2 games for LA. But those teams, we thought one of them was going to be the division winner.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh, we have some work to do because this Giants team is not slowing down.
Yeah, they're going to have some wild card issues with the Dodgers and Padres if they don't get their acts together. So the Giants, yeah, a good story. I saw the hiccup in the Dodgers earlier. I did think that the Dodgers had some issues with I really like Jock Peterson and Kiki Hernandez and some of those guys that they had to let go as far as their hitting was concerned. And the Dodgers are hitting pretty decent. But I thought that might hurt them a little bit. Getting the pitcher, Trevor Bauer, his situation has not helped. So I think, the struggles that the Dodgers are going to have down the stretch are going to be real to a lot of people real soon if they don't get Trevor Bauer back, which it doesn't look like they may. But the Giants,
With that being
story.
said, too, the Dodgers still have the second most wins in baseball at 59.
Yes.
It is just a reminder of how outrageous that Giants season has been. The San Francisco Giants have the most wins in baseball, which is ridiculous. How they're doing it, I have no idea, but good on them in that division. And the extra wild card spot's not there anymore in Major League Baseball. But if you're the Padres, 5.5 games back of the Giants, you're still 6 games up of Cincinnati for that second wild card position. So barring a dramatic collapse, we're going to see 3 teams out of the NL West in the postseason.
Yeah, and that's great. It's great for the West. So baseball, is good, out here. But that whole Dodger thing with Trevor Bauer, it just, I don't know if they can overcome all the things that they're going to have to do in order to repeat as World Series champions, especially with this Giants team and the rivalry between the Dodgers and Giants and the history of that. And I think the emotion of those guys just not wanting to be beat by the Dodgers after having this kind of an advantage or a lead over them this late into the season. It's not late, but it's starting to get there with August approaching and then September. So it'll be good.
Yeah,
It'll be
Trevor
good for
Bauer's
baseball.
away from the Dodgers, but he had to be. It would be even worse if Trevor Bauer was still pitching and he was facing those questions. Dave Roberts was facing those questions. The organization were facing those questions about his situation when more and more details came out about the allegations against him and what was said to be on his part a consensual relationship that ultimately ended up with a woman in the hospital. That's not something that's going to be solved overnight, but that's also not something that, as an organization, where you can continue to throw Trevor Bauer out there, and he's out of sight, out of mind right now for them. They got work to do, but still, 59 wins. Sky's not falling for the Dodgers, and just 2 games back of the Giants.
No, it's going good. It'll be all right. The Dodgers will survive.
So the NL West is rolling right now. We continue to roll on this morning. Still got a ton on deck. NFL training camps are opening up. Who is under the most pressure in the NFC this upcoming season? And we'll look at the AFC. Got a great conversation coming up at 9 o'clock this morning, which we will tell you about. Ned James, Steph, JJ Buck with you. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports App.
Datacom is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. Datacom has portable AC units for rent. Applications include server rooms, retail outlets, healthcare facilities, laboratories, convenience stores and truck stops, events, concerts, and weddings. All of these units are 120-volt plug and play. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to datacom.com to learn more.
Drive, Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah. Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning and welcome to the Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
Center fielder, Cade Bell on first. Here's the pitch to Heath. Struck him out. And great pitching by Alvarado. That'll do it for the Tigers in the top of the fifth.
A great crowd for a mid-afternoon game. Swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout, number 5 for Matt Romero.
Smith talking to the batter here. That's a... Oh, wow. Nice, and that's an out.
What did I tell you? That one's that gets over the head of the right fielder. That's going to bring in 2 runs as Adrian Martinez with the RBI double.
Towards the latter part. Pitch, and that's another way for a single. That's going to score 2. That makes the score 9-0. So RBI double. That's going to make it. That's it. It's 10 runs there.
One O's a count. And this one's high. It's going deep. And it's going to fall in. He's digging for third, and he gets there. Ezra Mestas with the 3-bagger. He gets the triple, and 2 more runs scored.
Steal to third base.
He brought the hot sauce for strike 3.
Small ball team for Reed Fiegel this year. That one is hit on the line to left. It's going to send Avila back to the warning track, to the wall, and he's going to watch it go. It's a solo homer off the bat of Bo Kidd. One nothing Eagles. Just when we were talking about small ball, the Eagles play long ball. Put over with 2 outs here. That boy's well hit to left. Coming in on it is Morrison. He drops it, and the Ravens win it.
For your business or your home.
7 o'clock in the morning.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. This is the opening drive with 2-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Siembieda, and J.J. Buck.
Well, that 2-time dude is in Las Vegas for Mountain West Media Days. I'm sure he's going to bring back a lot of interesting stuff, not just his conversations from players and coaches around the league, but starting to pick the brains of what happens if this is the time that the big seismic shift in college football actually happens. How does the Mountain West address it? Is it as simple as, oh, the Big 12 will just pick the schools they want from the group of 5 to remain a power conference? And I don't think that's the case. A lot of people are just assuming that, oh, it's going to be Cincinnati, UCF, Boise State, our turn to go to the Big 12. I think if Texas and Oklahoma decide to bolt, Big 12 just doesn't go poach some group of 5 schools. They say, all right, hold on. Let's actually get together and form this super conference and start playing our own game. And for the first time, I am buying that reality with what we have seen happen. So as we sit here and look forward to the season and the excitement that is ahead and how much fun it is going to be to have college football back in a more normal capacity, on the horizon, there's that possibility. And the SEC network, of course the SEC network, already has it drawn out, what it could look like if Texas and Oklahoma joined the SEC, which make them a 16-team conference. They would have 4 4-team pods, play a 9-game conference schedule. You'd play your teams in your pod, then you'd rotate through the rest. So they're already on it, moving ahead like this could happen. And now you got to be prepared if you're everyone else. What it do? Welcome into the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, joined by our quarterback, Ned James. Steph, taking your calls, 246-0610 is the Quan's Auto Care hotline. You can catch the show as well on ProView Networks. Aaron just sitting back, pretending to be the manager this morning. Adrian driving the ship. Catch us on Comcast Channel 26, and, of course, on the various social media platforms. Easy thing to do on Facebook, because I know y'all got a Facebook. The search for ProView Networks, give them a like. Also give us a like, facebook.com/TheOD in the AM, so you can catch the show via the interwebs if you're not around the radio. Let's get to the phones. Edward, you're on the opening drive. What's up, Edward?
Gentlemen, you know, I've thoroughly enjoyed the last few days. Edward James, you continue to impress. And I thoroughly enjoy your thought process and how you break things down. So kudos. You know, game recognizes game, my friend. Let me say this quickly on the Giants before I talk about college football. They have the grandson of my favorite player all time, having ties to the Boston area.
Yeah.
Carl Yastrzemski's grandson, Mike Yastrzemski, is their right fielder. And
I'm with
he's
you there.
a pretty dynamic player. I love Mike Yastrzemski.
Yes.
Let me say this about, is it Isaiah Chavez? I'm channeling my young gun's voice. Is it Isaiah Chavez, the local guy?
Yes.
You know, I'm on the train. So I've seen a gentleman who is 5'10", 185 pounds, that played for the guy who coaches New Mexico State at Kent State, go on to make the biggest plays in NFL playoff history the last 20 years, become a 3-time Super Bowl champion and a Super Bowl MVP, and tear guys up on the defensive backfield and over the middle. I'm talking about one Julian Edelman. So when you have a guy that can make plays and has a winning mentality and will do whatever, by the way, Julian Edelman played in the nickel defensive package in the second Giants Super Bowl, was a punt returner, a kick returner, and did whatever was asked of him. And now he retired, and he had a phenomenal career. So if there's a way to get Isaiah Chavez involved, then I'm on board with you, Ned James.
Absolutely.
Let me say this about, if anybody's listened to this show the last 10 years, I've been shouting from the rooftops, and JJ, you can attest to this, myself and Baltimore Ravens fans, Stigler, that college football is going to undergo significant changes, and we're on the precipice of this. Let me use the NFL as a model. If you had asked me a few years ago, by the way, the NFL cavalierly, threw an extra playoff team in last year and reduced one of the buys in the playoffs instead of 2 teams having buys. They said we're going to give the number 1 seed the bye and remove the one from the 2 seed. And then the following year they're going to say we're going to throw in a 17th game, right? The last time they changed the number of games was 1978 when they went from a 14-game schedule to a 16-game schedule. I predict that we're going to see the NFL play on Tuesday nights. Last year during the pandemic, they moved some games to Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and if there's any level of success, the landscape is going to change, and they're going to do what's best for the NFL and what's going to drive that machine. And I think people get encumbered and sequestered to the past. I love history. world history, Roman history, U.S. history. You can learn a lot from it, but you can't get encumbered with it because as things evolve and move forward, you have to move quickly with change. I think the NFL is going to continue to change. They may go to two weeks for each team during the year. They might extend the seasonal calendar. I think the NBA is going to change their calendar given the pandemic situation and start later. JJ has talked about this at length. I've been saying for at least 7 years now that these major 5 or 6 conferences are going to secede from the NCAA, and we're at the precipice of this. And to your point, Edward, earlier, it's going to be like high school basketball or high school athletics. And it's already in play. There's NAIA, Division II, Division III. There's already playoffs in that realm. There's going to be a major conference championship. Then, I would consider, let's say, a mid-major college championship, then another level college championship, and there's going to be separation because there already is separation. I think anytime you have a problem, the first step is recognizing who you are and what the problem is, and then you can go into fixing the problem or assessing the problem. As soon as people recognize that college football, in some aspects, is kind of a broken business model, and we all love it, right? We all watch it every week. As soon as you recognize there's a problem, then you can facilitate change. And I think that's what the SEC is trying to do and saying, hey, here's what we're going to do. We have the leverage. We have what people want, and here's how it's going to go. Whether it comes to fruition in the next few years, we'll see. But I think that people have to break down in their mind what they think they know, because they really don't know. We don't know. And there's drastic changes coming in all of athletics. And I just think it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. And I just want your guys' thoughts. I think you guys have talked about some of your thought processes, but I think anything's within the realm of possibility with the entertainment value and dollars at stake, and I think we're going to see drastic changes. So just want to share my thoughts. I've been talking this into existence for about 5 or 6 years. Guys, I'm not even trying to be right. I just know I'm right. Have a delightful day.
And here's the thing.
But if you don't know, now you know.
I've been on that side of the pushback. You know, it's still Division I athletics. I get it. You know, the haves and have-nots, but you're still playing. You're still getting the opportunity. Now more so than ever, I can see that divide within college football. So the hard questions are going to be, can you keep everything else pretty much on the same path in terms of college basketball, the other Olympic sports, the competition you see there, and kind of pull football out of that model? Because I think football can survive in a different model. I think if they start messing with college basketball, if the power conferences want to take their teams and go, then college sports as we know it is dead. And I don't know how you ever get that feeling back. It's going to become more regionalized. I think football is going to fall off the face of the earth in that case. And sure, you're going to have your big games down south in the SEC every once in a while. Pac-12 game, Ohio State, Michigan's going to pop. So you have to really be proactive. And I'm with Edward on that sense of it. You can't get caught up on the past and what was, because all that is being shattered as we speak. But can you keep certain frameworks in place for the rest of collegiate athletics, which are not necessarily dominated like college football in terms of the television and the revenue? And that's going to be the tough decision, because everyone's going to want a piece. Everyone thinks they're going to be the team that gets a shot, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
If we do see this seismic shift happen.
Yeah, and it happened before. Everybody, wants to forget about how it was once thought that, the power brokers of New York City and L.A. and Chicago and the big cities, everything was kind of being pulled to those cities because those were the major markets. And then eventually, we see these other markets start popping up around the country, and there's popularity and there's interest in these other areas of the country. It's like you said, the regional part of it, the regional piece of it is where I'm fascinated by, because I've lived in the Deep South, and the fact that football, us West Coast guys that grew up with USC football, and the fact that, Bear Bryant, did more to integrate the South than Martin Luther King by having the first black football player play at the University of Alabama. People, you have to go to history to kind of find where these things come from. And a lot of people don't understand that because of the fact that, there is this population in the Deep South that has made football pretty good, they're trying to, just benefit from that. They're trying to regionalize and make that part of the country, the football mecca, so to speak. But eventually things, kind of, like you said, things go in waves and things change over time. And right now the South is enjoying the benefits of winning in football, but it'll change. It moves in different areas.
Well, we can keep talking about the South all we want. The Pac-12 and Big Ten aren't going to let them run away. They're just going to join them. And that's the thing that we need to acknowledge. I
mean, that's what some people would think. I don't think that the Pac-10 and the biggest. I don't think the Union is going to join the South in the Confederate War. I think we're going to stay separate from the Confederacy. And I think like you said, it's regional in the fact that it's just football. It's not the other sports, and the bigger campuses are in the Big Ten. Michigan, Ohio State, Minnesota. Those are huge. Illinois. Those are huge campuses. Those are huge universities, and they're not just going to give themselves to the South. It's just not going to happen. And in the West and in the East, that's where the power brokers are. You got Wall Street and Silicon Valley. So I see it, if you're looking at it from a standpoint of, football is king in the South, I get that. But other than that, it's really not their decisions.
It's not. But I think what we've seen is I keep going back to the analogy of walls, but the walls of academia and amateurism, those things are being shattered. And now decisions are going to be made more business-wise, I think, even at the biggest universities, where with name, image, and likeness coming into play, you still have your scholarship opportunities, and that's a big thing, which they still want to hand out scholarships so they don't have to add a salary on top of that for these student athletes. This is the first time I'm uncomfortable in this conversation, because I see with the decisions along those lines why, we're getting caught up on the SEC. But to your point, those other conferences aren't going to let the SEC dictate everything, but they're not going to let them be the only ones that go for the power grab. And I think that's where then we could see those guys coming together and making the shift in football. And so you have to be ready. If you're Craig Thompson or these other commissioners, what do we do to make sure that our football, while it's going to take a hit, still stays alive and relevant in this landscape?
But in the mortal words of Barry Switzer, almost 40-something years ago, there once was a time when Notre Dame University was a fine academic institution, but now it's a bank. And so the revenue from these major colleges like Notre Dame that are in the Midwest, that are in the East, that are in the West, those things aren't going to go away. And I understand football and where football is going, and this whole power structure, power dynamic. But academia, it's still at the end of the day, the church, the Catholic Church, the Jesuits.
Notre Dame would be left out of that.
It's going to be, you're going to have those things that are going to get involved as well. So it'll be interesting to see if they give up a lot of those principles that they have and some of the things that the founding fathers of these universities came up with.
I did last
for
year.
These institutions.
They joined the ACC.
Yeah, but they did it only for football.
And that's the thing. And I think that is why you can see football will be played and managed differently at the highest level. We'll move on from that, but that is a big talking point, because for the first time, I'm starting to see the actual framework for that changing the game across the board. But what does the trickle-down effect mean for everyone else? We come back on the other side. Speaking of the past, we're not going to talk about Gone with the Wind. Well, what was gone for one NFL owner was the championships, and what would he do for a Super Bowl title? It's Opening Drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610. The
South shall rise.
Pepsi and Allsups are giving you a free chance to win.
Opening Drive, Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah. Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning and welcome to the Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
Center fielder, Cade Bell on first. Here's the pitch to Heath. Struck him out. And great pitching by Alvarado. That'll do it for the Tigers in the top of the fifth.
A great crowd for a mid-afternoon game. Swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout, number 5 for Matt Romero.
Smith talking to the batter here. That's a, oh, wow. Nice, and that's an out.
What did I tell you? That gets over the head of the right fielder. That's going to bring in 2 runs. As Adrian Martinez with the RBI double.
Towards the latter part. Pitch, and that's another way for a single. That's going to score 2. That makes the score 9-0. So RBI double. That's going to make it. That's it. It's 10 runs there.
One O's a count. And this one's high. It's going deep. And it's going to fall in. He's digging for third, and he gets there. Ezra Mestas with the 3-bagger. He gets the triple, and 2 more runs scored.
Steal to third base.
He brought the hot sauce for strike 3.
Small ball team for Reed Fiegel this year. That one is hit on the line to left. It's going to send Avila back to the warning track, to the wall, and he's going to watch it go. It's a solo homer off the bat of Bo Kidd. 1-0 Eagles. Just when we were talking about small ball, the Eagles play long ball. Good over with 2 outs here. That boy's well hit to left. Coming in on it is Morrison. He drops it, and the Ravens win it.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're #1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Dream Style Roofing.
Sports Animal.
I'd do anything known to man to get a Super Bowl. That's a fact. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones yesterday in his news conference as Dallas Cowboys in Oxnard, California. Their training camp is underway, and Jerry Jones is desperate. What owner's not desperate to win a Super Bowl? But it's been a long time.
That's my quarterback.
Dallas Cowboys.
They cry a lot in Dallas. That's my quarterback.
Jones got choked up, though, when discussing former coach Jimmy Johnson's tenure with the Cowboys. Now that Johnson is headed to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, He said, well, I just think of those great times. I don't have a good Jerry Jones impression. I'm sorry. and Jimmy's a great coach, Jones said. Ridiculous. My role here my job was to keep it together. It was my job. Should have had difference to something that was working good. Those are the things that come to my mind. We had a great run of it. He's a great coach, and I'm proud to have him as a friend and proud to have had the times that we had. We just had great experience. What once was. Speaking of living in the past, Jerry Jones winning the Super Bowl. Again, I got it. But guess what? The team with the most pressure. There's one team in the NFC with more pressure. And you've talked me into that, and I think we all see it. It's the LA Rams with Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
The exhibition of Matt Stafford in the offseason. That is like NFC championship game or bust.
Yeah.
Because if you get to the NFC championship game, you're one step away from the Super Bowl. So that's what I get to first.
Okay.
So NFC championship game or bust for the LA Rams. With what they've done over the last few years, all the investment made into now for that roster, acquiring Matt Stafford, because Jared Goff just wasn't good enough. He just got you to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He didn't win that Super Bowl. So now you have a guy that hasn't done anything close to that in Detroit at the helm, but you think he's going to be more exciting. And number two, it's Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. As you look at the way that division is set up right now, do we think Ryan Fitzpatrick for 17 games is going to be that dude? No. Ryan Fitzpatrick for 4 games, 3.5 games, can be that dude. The Washington football team has a defense. They have some really good players around Ryan Fitzpatrick in place. But the quarterback in that division, that even coming off the broken ankle, that is how crazy modern medicine is I have zero doubt that Dak Prescott's going to be effective coming off an injury like that. Let's just look at who we saw able to come back and play last year for the Washington football team. A much more severe incident was one, Alex Smith. But it's Matthew Stafford, it's the Rams, it's Dak Prescott and the Cowboys.
Yeah. I agree.
All eyes are on them. This is the time. We're talking Super Bowl with the Rams. Heck, for the Cowboys, you got to win that division.
Yeah.
Pressure is on those two squads the most in the NFC.
Yeah, and with Dak Prescott, the one thing, and I talked about this a while back, I'm a little more concerned with is the relationship between Dak and the head coach, McCartney. Yeah. McCartney plays it really cool, but I don't see that connection that the coach and the quarterback should have. I mean, the quarterback is the leader. The team is going to follow that quarterback, whoever said quarterback is. And so, you start with that, and then that quarterback has to have the confidence of the head coach. I don't really, I mean, I'm watching because I don't want to say that they do have a good relationship or they don't, but I'm watching that one, and that's careful. Now, you know my feelings about the Rams. I have a cousin who just absolutely loves Matthew Stafford and the fact that because he could not stand Jared Goff. And I have to remind him, being from L.A., being a Rams fan, the guy did get you to a Super Bowl. Was it the coach or was it the quarterback? Now, in one part, you're saying that it's the coach. And then on the other, and you're talking out the other side of your mouth, you're saying it's the quarterback. So which one is it? Because, okay, so that coach says, oh, it's the quarterback. So let me get rid of him and get a better one. And so what the better one means, you should win the Super Bowl. It doesn't mean you could get to the Super Bowl because the last guy got you playoff wins.
There you go.
And then you get a guy that hasn't won a playoff game, and you say he's better. And you say, okay, it's the quarterback. It's not me. I've got the plays. I just need the quarterback. So you set yourself up right there. People have given the Rams coach, his name is
Sean McVay.
Sean McVay. They've already got his measurements for a gold jacket and being a Hall of Fame NFL coach. And the guy, he hasn't won a Super Bowl. He's gotten to a Super Bowl with Jeff Fisher's players. That now they're going to be your players. Now they're yours. Now you're buying. Now you're buying the groceries. Now you're picking the guys. So let's see if it's because of the coach or if it's the players. Now, it changes now. Does Stafford become a bum if he doesn't win, or is it the coach? Those are the things that are going to happen in Los Angeles. So, and also Tampa Bay's got a little bit of pressure. Are they going to repeat? Are the stories about Tom getting older? Is it Miracle Man? He played with a sprained knee.
Yeah,
now they're saying it was a torn MCL. So, we'll see how that goes.
And the fact they return all 22 starters, which is unheard of.
Right. Yeah, and the way they did those deals, it'll be interesting to see how they the pressure on them. I mean, and they're in a weaker conference now. The quarterbacks are down in the conference
South.
Yeah,
that gives them a little bit more leeway because the Saints aren't going 12-4 with Taysom Miller, Jameis Winston at quarterback. No. It ain't the same. The Carolina Panthers. Are you ready to believe in Sam Darnold? Was it just a franchise? Because it was a mess.
Yeah, and they're all in on Sam Darnold.
And now you got Sam Darnold there, but are they? How many wins? Because they were a 5-11 team last year. You get Christian McCaffrey back, Sam Darnold. Could they be a wild card team? I don't think they're chasing down Tampa Bay just yet. The team to look out for, and people are going to think it's crazy. It's Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, I like Matt Ryan. I'm glad you said that because I like Matt Ryan.
You got Calvin Ridley, who is your number one wide receiver. He showed he can do it last year. Yeah. You got Kyle Pitts, and that was a big thing is, well, why would they do that? Well, Matt Ryan is still owed a lot of money, but they were a team that had terrible luck in close games last year. Case in point, the Dallas Cowboys game, which they totally collapsed and gave away. But I think that is the team to watch out for. But overall, in the NFC South, Tampa Bay doesn't have a lot of pressure.
Right.
So to your point, they should be a shoe-in to win the division. But the pressure immensely is on the Rams, is on the Dallas Cowboys to win the division because you have a major question mark. I will take my chances with the questionable defense right now, but a healthy Dak Prescott for 17 games over the best defense in that division, which is the Washington football team, no question about it, and Ryan Fitzpatrick for 17 games.
Yeah. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's an amazing guy. I mean, the Harvard graduate, so obviously everybody's enamored with the intellect. But at the same time, he's kind of, I don't know how you put it with his journeys. He's been the consummate journeyman, but he gives these coaches hope. I mean, they think, hey, all we got to do is play defense. Don't lose the game for us.
Guy.
Yeah, and we should be okay.
Play quarterback that way. If you watch Ryan Fitzpatrick play quarterback, he's not the guy that go manage this game. He's the dude that's gonna get a little crazy. That's gonna get wild. He'll win you some games, but there's a reason he hasn't settled in as a starting quarterback somewhere. Now this, I do agree. He did an interview last week. This is the best situation for Ryan Fitzpatrick that he's ever been in. If you look last year, what was he? He was a bridge for Tua, or the other places he's been in. He's been kind of the get-by guy on mediocre teams. Now he's on a team that was in the playoffs last year, played pretty darn good against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the postseason with Alex Smith and then whatchamacallit at quarterback. I can't think of his name right now.
Dwayne Haskins.
No.
The Kyle Allen, or was it Allen or something like that? Or
no, I can't. Why am I blanking on the dude's name?
I can't.
Kyle Allen was early in the season, got hurt.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about the. I can't think of his name as well, but
Taylor Heinicke. Taylor Heinicke got them at least to push Tampa Bay postseason. So this is the
they
best.
They only got 6 wins. They didn't win seven.
So they still only won 7 games.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not over the moon on Ryan Fitzpatrick. So if we're kind of talking just pressure NFC, it's Dak Prescott, it's Matthew Stafford. The time is now.
Right, and I think Matthew Stafford, he's playing in the toughest conference in football. I mean, here you are, you take a chance on this guy, and you got to go through Seattle, Arizona, and San Francisco. And people think San Francisco is the weakest team. They haven't looked at that defense that San Francisco has, so.
They just gave their linebacker $96 million.
Yeah, and so that's going to be a tough task, a tall task, and he's playing, in warm weather, but he should be okay in the warm weather, so we'll see.
Steph is too nice, just letting us go. not keeping us on track like Bobcat would. He'd be like, go to break. We got to break. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Center fielder, Caden Bell on first. Here's the pitch to Heath. Struck him out. And great pitching by Alvarado. That'll do it for the Tigers in the top of the 5th.
a great crowd for a mid-afternoon game. Swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout, number 5 for Matt Romero.
Smith talking to the batter here. That's a, oh, wow. Nice, and that's an out.
What did I tell you? That one's that gets over the head of the right fielder. That's going to bring in 2 runs as Adrian Martinez with the RBI double.
Towards the latter part. Pitch, and that's another way for a single. That's going to score 2. That makes the score 9-0. So RBI double. That's going to make it. That's it. It's 10 runs there.
1-0's the count. And this one's high. It's going deep. And it's going to fall in. He's digging for third, and he gets there. Ezra Mestas with the 3-bagger. He gets the triple, and 2 more runs scored.
Steal to third base.
He brought the hot sauce for strike 3.
Small ball team for Reed Fiegel this year. That one is hit on the line to left. It's going to send Avila back to the warning track, to the wall, and he's going to watch it go. It's a solo homer off the bat of Bo Kidd. One nothing Eagles. Just when we were talking about small ball, the Eagles played long ball. Good over with 2 outs here. That boy's well hit to left. Coming in on it is Morrison. He drops it, and the Ravens win it.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
Who do you think has the most pressure on them? There's always a ton of pressure in the NFL, but they're the Rams. Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott, when it comes to NFC teams, raised to that level. Of course, the Aaron Rodgers situation, nothing new there, but that's a power-changing move, whether he's a quarterback of the Green Bay Packers or not, because who does he become the quarterback of? And in the AFC, who's taking out the Kansas City Chiefs? Because if you look at the Super Bowl and think, oh, Tampa Bay found the plan to defeat Kansas City, you're wrong. It's just the fact that Kansas City did not have an offensive lineman available that could block. So with a healthy offensive line back, I'm still all in on Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. So who in the AFC can run that team down? Who's ready to take that leap? We look at teams across the board, whether you want to go to the the AFC North. I think it's really intriguing. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, can that offense kind of find that next gear? As explosive as they are, at times have been bogged down in the playoffs. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, well, guess what? Ben Roethlisberger is now Baker Mayfield. Like, the Steelers and Browns are going to play the same brand of football. It's going to be defense, running the football, and make the plays needed in the passing game. Because do you think Ben Roethlisberger losing weight and looking lean, if that's what we call lean these days, is all of a sudden going to make his elbow and arm feel better? I don't know. But it's fascinating looking at the AFC landscape and the teams that can make the biggest jump. As much as we're talking about Sam Darnold in Carolina, is Carson Wentz the biggest difference maker in the AFC now that he's in Indianapolis?
Good question. Playoff team. I don't know if they were a quarterback away because they had a pretty good quarterback last year, even though he was on his last legs, and Phillip Rivers. I'm intrigued always by the New England Cheaters with Bill Belichick. I'm always intrigued by the Patriots because that team there is a team that, the pandemic and the COVID issue stuff really kind of affected that team, probably more so than any other team. You're talking about a team that came off year with the number one defense, even though they had Tom the Cheater Brady, and he kind of cost them that playoff game with that abysmal performance. I think that's the team to watch. I'm not a Cam Newton fan. I don't like his throwing. That's just me. A lot of people like Cam for other reasons. The guy was a league MVP at one point. He's kind of hyping himself up a little bit, saying he's much improved. He was he had COVID and he got some. It's still not going to eliminate his throwing, but that's the team that's most intriguing to me. The Cleveland-Pittsburgh situation, when you got to talk about a guy's weight, the weight is the issue.
Important. Gotta be healthy.
The fact that people are mentioning Ben Roethlisberger being slim means that that's an issue, and Pittsburgh's going to be Pittsburgh. Cleveland is the team that's never been there before, never been in this position before. They're going to be a little bit of the hunted this year as opposed to being the hunter. They took a step, and I like Baker, but he's got to grow up. You got to be mature. You got to be liked.
Did you see that from him last year? Because I did. It felt like they found their identity where. In football, we get caught up on thinking everyone has to be elite. Like, if you're not elite at the quarterback position, you're not going to be any good. You always got to be looking for that next guy. But there's not going to be 32 elite dudes at that level. Like, I think, Baker Mayfield, a Jared Goff, these are guys that are going to get overlooked. but can be in position to make winning plays that can take a football team deep in the postseason. Because the one dangerous thing we do as sports fans is assume things will be the same. So kind of to your point is, all right, what is the next thing that takes an 11-5 Browns team to a consistent team in that division?
Yeah, and it starts with, the defense, and their defense is pretty good. So, I mean, I think that's where it starts. I think, the offense has been productive with the new head coach. Special teams obviously is important. I just, the maturity of the team is what I'm looking to see. If there's, if Baker can get out of this immature, wanting to battle with media people all the time, and he can kind of become a more of a leader and a role model for that team, I think, he'll take the next step. But if he can't get past that may hold him back a little bit. The AFC, just the Raiders in the West, Denver, trying to, make that next step. The Chargers, they think they've found their quarterback, but then you get rid of the head coach that really kind of, put him in a position to be at that next level. I mean, is this new coach going to come in and really, have that big of an effect where it pushes them into the playoffs? Those are all questions, you gotta have answered. And in the South, just Miami, the Dolphins, you just don't know.
It's Tua time.
Yeah, it's Tua. It's going to have to be time.
Your closer, Ryan Fitzpatrick, is gone, and you're going to have to trust the young kid to make strides in year two. We'll dive in to the AFC West, because I said Kansas City is still the team to beat, but who makes a step in that division? Who's able to maybe put some pressure on the Kansas City Chiefs in the 17-game season? We'll get into that next. He's Ned James, JJ Buck, Steph with you. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Looking for a job? Contact Express.
Drive, Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. Mike, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
Center fielder, Caden Bell on first. Here's the pitch that he struck him out. And great pitching by Alvarado. That'll do it for the Tigers in the top of the fifth.
A great crowd for a mid-afternoon game. Swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout, number 5 for Matt Romero.
Smith talking to the batter here. That's a, oh, wow. Nice, and that's an out.
What did I tell you? That one's that gets over the head of the right fielder. That's going to bring in 2 runs. As Adrian Martinez with the RBI double.
Towards the latter part. Pitch, and that's another way for a single. That's going to score 2. That makes the score 9-0. So RBI double. That's going to make it. That's it. It's 10 runs there.
One O's the count. And this one's high. It's going deep. And it's going to fall in. He's digging for third, and he gets there. Ezra messed us with the 3-bagger. He gets the triple and 2 more runs scored.
Steal to third base.
And he brought the hot sauce for strike 3.
Small ball team for Reed Fiegel this year. That one is hit on the line to left. It's going to send Avila back to the warning track, to the wall, and he's going to watch it go. It's a solo homer off the bat of Bo Kidd. One nothing Eagles. Just when we were talking about small ball, the Eagles play long ball. Good over with 2 outs here. That boy's well hit to left. Coming in on it is Morrison. He drops it, and the Ravens win it.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
T reminds you to toss no mas. 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal. Sports Animal.
Got a fun conversation coming up at 9 o'clock. We're going to talk with Lobo softball head coach Paula Congleton about Lobo softball, but mainly one of the 10 Lobo athletes, current and former, that are competing right now in the Tokyo Olympics. It's her outfielder. It's Andrea Howard playing for Team Italy. And Andrea Howard, born and raised right here in Albuquerque, played at La Cueva High School. 4 years at UNM, is going to utilize the super senior season. So she's going to come back for year 5, but playing right now for Tokyo. And Andrea Howard, in the first 2 games of the tournament for Team Italy, has played in the outfield and is hitting leadoff. So an incredible story for Andrea Howard, La Cueva graduate, Lobo, Albuquerque native, playing in the Olympics, one of 10 Lobos over there. Of course, you have another cool story, Mariah Duran, the skateboarder from here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, is over in Tokyo as they made skateboarding a part of the Olympics. So some really cool stories are going on. Yes, there's the what's going to happen kind of moving forward with COVID in the Olympics, but the games are underway. We're seeing softball. We didn't watch. We read after the fact because it was in the middle of the night. USA women's team lose 3-0 to Sweden. That was a shocker to open the tournament. So the games are underway. While we haven't had the ceremonial opening ceremony, the Olympics they're going.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to talking with Paula Congleton at 9 o'clock about Andrea Howard and really what it means, not just for her team, but for the softball community in Albuquerque. Because we talk so much about baseball and baseball prospects in the state of New Mexico. There's a lot of good softball players in this state.
And we've gotten out to those games. So, I mean, it's really
I had the opportunity. I know Horse ProView does a great job of broadcasting those games for the Mountain West Network, and I had the opportunity to call some softball games last year, and being around the team, being around the game, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of those local connections that you look for. And with the talent in this state, and Paula Congleton, and I know UNM is really hoping that they can start to turn the corner and get that program going.
Yeah, and Paula's really, really my favorite UNM sports coach. Because she is my alumni sister.
You can't do that. You can't rank
I
them.
can do that because she's my alumni sister. She's my veteran sister. Now, Danny and Rocky are alumni brothers. Danny, being the head coach, a little younger, but Paula went to UNM when I was there, and she was a softball player.
Yeah, she's a Lobo alum.
So she's a Lobo alum, so she's my alumni sister. And I go over there and eat up all her snacks all the time at the softball complex. And so we've had some great talks over the years. She's had some kids in one of my programs that we have, our ZEAL program on campus. And she's really done a great job of supporting all UNM student athletes. And she's really, really a hometown girl, and she's really all about the Albuquerque UNM experience here for all our students.
So we'll talk with Paul coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. He's Ned James, JJ Buck Stuff with you. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. So as training camps are hitting and the stories are starting to come out about what players have done in the offseason. You mentioned the AFC West before break there. It's still Kansas City.
Yeah.
Is going to run that division. They revamped the offensive line. They're going to be healthy. I don't think we're going to see them lose their entire offensive line to injury like we did last year. So they're still dangerous because Patrick Mahomes is that dude. Like, he is the ultimate game changer right now in the NFL. But who's going to run them down? Raiders sitting there at 8-8. John Gruden, he's got the 100-year contract.
Yeah.
And what's the next step for them?
Yeah.
To your point on the Chargers, it was a coaching change.
Yeah.
They thought Anthony Lynn did not handle some of those late-game situations well. They have the dude. I buy into Justin Herbert. And you got a guy that has that kind of upside you're looking for that could be more than just a get-by quarterback in this league. And the frustrating thing, if you're a Denver Broncos fan, you have the roster. They have a good roster. They got pieces defensively. They've invested in the offense. Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, Melvin Gordon. They have a second-round draft pick at the running back position. You ain't got a quarterback. You don't.
You don't like the quarterback. You can't say they don't.
They don't have a quarterback.
Well,
there's quarterbacks listed.
And
show me who's taking them to the playoffs.
But you know how I feel. First of all, offense just sells tickets. But I'm a Vic Fangio fan, so I like the fact that what he's done with defense, and he's been, kind of really a strong defensive presence in the NFL for a long time. And so I feel that that's
defense for 5 wins last year, Ned. 5.
But like you said, they had some struggles in a lot of areas. So we're just going to have to fix some things, and they may be getting a quarterback. You never know.
Someone convince me that Drew Lock can get the job done. Because if Teddy Bridgewater is a quarterback, steady Teddy, you're winning 7 games.
Well, we get Steady Teddy could be progressing. He's coming off his second year of that knee injury, so we'll see.
Coming up next, we will talk with Lobo softball head coach Paul Congleton, a local athlete and a Lobo, one of many from the state participating in the Tokyo Olympics. What does that mean for her team and the softball community? Great conversation coming up next. The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them
connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. DCE Systems want to help schools reopen and keep students teaching.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. This is the opening drive with 2-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Siembieda, and JJ Buck.
The what if conversations. What's it going to look like next season? What is college athletics going to look like? For the most part, we know it's not until maybe a few years down the line that we could see this seismic shift in college athletics, but specifically with football. But what does that mean for everyone else? It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal. Jeff Siembieda back tomorrow. He's in Las Vegas for Mountain West Media Days. Really interested to know what the conversation is going to be like later today. Once that news dropped yesterday that Texas and Oklahoma might be flirting with the SEC, you know that's going to send shockwaves throughout college athletics, but that's not going to change anything for this upcoming season. JJ Book joined by Ned James here on the opening drive, and our next guest. Really excited for the conversation, not just because I had the opportunity really for the first time to interact with her in her program last year, but what's on deck? It is UNM softball coach Paula Congleton joining us on the opening drive. Paula, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, JJ?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. And really excited to have this conversation, not just to tell the story of one of your players, but your program. And if people don't know, we have a New Mexico native, La Cueva High School graduate, a Lobo, Andrea Howard, playing in the Olympics, one of 8 current or former Lobos that are over in Tokyo right now. She bats leadoff for Italy. She started the 2 games they played overnight, had a 1-0 loss to Australia. But first up, Paula, tell us how she got connected with Italy and is now playing for the national team.
Yeah, well, her mother is Italian, and therefore Andrea has dual citizenship and has been visiting Italy since probably the day she was born. And their family continues to go back and forth to Italy as Andrea's mother still has family over there. Her mother is still alive, and they've got a lot of relatives. And just growing up, Andrea, probably had a couple of weeks over there, started playing some softball, and was recognized as probably being one of the little top athletes out there running around, and finally got connected with their national team and just kind of evolved from there and has been making the trip back and forth for the last several years, and just turned into her playing for the European Cup and a couple of other things. Let's see, not last year because of COVID, but the year before in the European Championships. And as we got closer to the Olympics, then, of course, the evaluations became a little bit probably more serious for Italy. And now we've got Andrea as our Olympic athlete.
Paula, you took over the Lobo softball program in 2017. What's it been like seeing her development as a player on and off the field? And what does something like this mean for your program when you are able to have an athlete represent on the national stage like this at the Olympics?
Well, for me, just coming back home and getting back into the 505 area code has been a phenomenal experience for me. It's full circle. I am so blessed and proud to be the head of this program, and as an alumni, it's very true. It's just true New Mexico. And I think one of the things that I noticed when we first walked through the doors as a coaching staff is that Andrea had bought into this program way before I even stepped through the door. As we started to talk to her about her opportunities, what was the program, what was her vision for the program, what was she like? And, I tracked them a little bit once I heard that I was getting the job and, researched, of course, the players that were already here. But then having those one-on-one conversations with them, and more specifically Andrea, like I said, she had bought into this program way before I walked through the door. I think it probably started when she was a little kid, playing here at the Little Leagues and then going through La Cueva High School. And I think one of the things that really stood out to me about our first conversations is Andrea's a tough competitor, and it doesn't really matter where we put her on the field. I mean, for us, she's our center fielder, but, a couple of years ago, she was playing first base for the Italians, and we worked her a little at first base, but her comfort level really is in the outfield, and she's got great prowess in the outfield. But one of the things that stood out is she's a student of the game, and she's got a constant desire to learn and grow. And I mean, we've seen it now. I've seen it now in the 4 years that she just continues to demonstrate her commitment to her excellence, not only on the field, but in the classroom. And I am not only proud, but blessed to have such an outstanding person in our program that represents the state of New Mexico, Albuquerque, the University of New Mexico, and then more specifically my program.
Lobo softball head coach Paula Congleton joining us in the opening drive.
Hey, Paula, Ned James. I don't know if you were listening earlier, but I was just bragging about how happy and how excited I am about your Olympic athlete, and as well as the fact that you're my favorite UNM head coach, and the fact that we're alumni, brother and sister. Eddie, I was talking about how Danny is our little brother, so he has to come in second, and how excited and happy I am for you, and the fact that coming here, we kind of both came back kind of sort of around the same time, and how much you've kind of helped with me as far as with some of the things I've done on campus, and how excited I am about the program, and how great a job I think you're doing over there, and I'm just so happy that you're here. One of the things I wanted to ask, though, just the fact that you had come from the West Coast back into the Mountain West Conference, how do you see those two in comparison as far as what the Mountain West Conference is doing and what your last conference did for women's softball?
Yeah, well, and Ned, it's good to hear you, and you need to stop by and come and check things out over here. So anyway, I'll expect you here in the next month or so.
I will.
But and thank you for that welcome. And you're right, we are brother and sister, and I mean, every time we see each other, we're just so excited about being here and being a part of UNM athletics. And I think really the difference is, as I've had an opportunity now to see teams from all over the country, but more specifically the Mountain West, is the Mountain West has the ability, and I feel the potential to be that Power 6 conference. You know, right now we're kind of considered the mid-major conference, but the programs across the board, from football to diving to softball, baseball, the programs in the Mountain West are all very elevated and definitely compete with the Power 5. And what I can say about the West is, you know, the West doesn't really have to go very far because there's so many colleges and universities in the state of New Mexico, in the state of California. And I think that, you know, it's a hotbed specifically for softball there because 365 days out of the year you can play softball. But, and there are a lot of great athletes that come out of California. And very competitive. However, I feel that because they don't have to travel far, and because they I don't want to say the competition isn't as strong, because it is. I mean, look at the Pac-12 and Oregon and, you know, all of those other places. But I just feel that in the Mountain West, they've done a really great job as far as capitalizing on the potential of student athletes and the success of the conference. So I just feel like the Mountain West is a step up from the West.
A couple more minutes talking with Lobo softball head coach Paula Congleton here on the opening drive. And of course, Paula, you have to be able to recruit across the board to have a successful program, but you've done a good job, whether we're talking about Andrea Howard, who's a member of this program, or the other players that you've recruited from the state of New Mexico. What do you think about the softball overall here in New Mexico?
I think it's definitely improving and has come a long way. I think just with the addition of some of the high schools. I mean, when I left 25 years ago, Cleveland, Atrisco Heritage, Volcano Vista, those schools weren't even built. Those were dirt lots out there. So I think it's definitely evolved. There's some great athletes in New Mexico. You know, we've got Ashley Archuleta coming in from Cleveland High School this year that we're super excited about, Gatorade Player of the Year, numerous awards. So there's a lot of talent in New Mexico, and the game of softball has definitely improved. There's more facilities, there's more Little League teams, there's more travel ball teams. So I can see nothing but great expectations for New Mexico softball.
And Paula, last year your squad did what they had to do to get through the season. You played 22 straight road games to start the year before getting into Mountain West play. What are some of the things that you and your team learned from last season? How do you take positives out of something that was such a challenge for your squad?
Yeah, definitely a challenge, and thanks for acknowledging that. And, that was not the schedule that we had set. Our schedule probably changed 5 or 6 times, and that was even a week before we started. And so what I believe that has done is our kids are capable of having those challenges put in front of us and being able to successfully cope with that, and have the understanding and the belief that no matter where you're at, successful things can happen, which is confidence. And please, confidence was earned when we were on the road. And that was built through hard work and preparation of having to travel. It's also having an optimistic feeling and look and vision, getting rid of any of that anxiety or fear, and turning that into motivation, an optimistic attitude, being able to handle that high-pressure situation. And that's what is going to create the champion, that unflappable, under-pressure ability to make good decisions, attack what we need to attack. And I feel like through that entire adversity, that it just fueled our ambition. The kids are super excited about this year. We've already got our schedule, which is a very good schedule for us. It's a mid-major schedule. Our RPI for strength of schedule last year was, I think it was 38. And, we got bounced around and kicked around a little bit, but it really turned out to be a pretty good experience. Our kids understand what it takes, and everybody's energized to move forward. Yesterday, I just got another transfer commit pitcher that we're super excited about. A couple of weeks ago, we got Amber Linton from Indiana, who is going to do some phenomenal things, plus the staff that we have returning, and then just the addition of our newbies that are coming in. So very excited about Lobo softball.
Well, Paula, we appreciate the time. Look forward to seeing what's in store for this squad next year. We're going to enjoy watching Andrea Howard, and the beauty of it is she's going to be back, and she's going to be playing one more year for Lobo softball. So we'll enjoy watching her in the Olympics, and excited to see her in that Lobo uniform again. But always appreciate the time. Thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I'll be over for snacks, too.
Yes. Come on by.
All right.
All right.
Well, you best load up, Paula, because Ned is hungry. That is Lobo softball head coach Paula Congleton here on the opening drive on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Swing for Altamira's
and staff safe. New Mexico's distributor of no-valent Shield Plus, an antimicrobial hand sanitizer that lasts 24 hours. That's right, 24 hours. 1 liter will provide approximately 2,000 individual applications. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to DCESystemsINC.com to learn more. DCE Systems is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Center fielder, Caden Bell on first. Here's the pitch that he struck him out. And great pitching by Alvarado. That'll do it for the Tigers in the top of the 5th. A great crowd for a mid-afternoon game. Swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout, number 5 for Matt Romero.
Smith talking to the batter here. That's a, oh, wow. Nice, and that's an out.
What did I tell you? That one's that gets over the head of the right fielder. That's going to bring in 2 runs. As Adrian Martinez with the RBI double.
Towards the latter part. Pitch, and that's another way for a single. That's going to score 2. That makes the score 9-0. So RBI double. That's going to make it. That's it. It's 10 runs there.
The count. And this one's high. It's going deep. And it's going to fall in. He's digging for third, and he gets there. Ezra Mestas with the 3-bagger. He gets the triple, and 2 more runs scored.
Steal to third base.
And he brought the hot sauce for strike 3.
Small ball team for Reed Fiegel this year. That one is hit on the line to left. It's going to send Avila back.
Texas stuff. You guys are going to destroy college sports. No fist bump for you this morning. Maybe come back later.
Texas proud.
Comes in. Yeah, Micah got the office job now. You know, he grew up in the business world, so he has a real job. You know, he has to make money and pay bills. I get it. So he leaves us, goes to work. So he comes in every morning saying what's up now that everyone's back in the office. Walks in here wearing his Longhorn hat, Longhorn T-shirt, trying to give me the knuckles. No, sir. You're not getting knuckles from me this morning. Y'all are going to destroy college athletics by wanting to go to the SEC. And you bring up a great point, Ned. Why the SEC? If it's about competing, the SEC is not going to get you where you want to go.
No.
Because the last time I checked, Texas isn't winning the Big 12 regularly.
That's right.
When was the last time you beat Oklahoma? When was the last time you were in a college football playoff?
So go west, young man. Go west.
So why not go to the Pac-12? You could win the Pac-12 eventually. But that's the thing. It's not about conference championships. It's not about championships. It's about money. I get it for OU. They got, hey, look at our trophy case. How dusty is that Texas Longhorn football trophy case? 06 game against USC, the last hoorah you had for Texas football. No, you're not getting knuckles from me. You're going to destroy college athletics. If this happens, this is going to be the tipping point. This is when major college football is going to break, and you have your super conference. And this isn't – people are caught up on what happened a decade ago when we saw some teams get plucked. And, A&M and Missouri go to the SEC. And the Big 12 will fill the holes. We'll grab TCU. The Pac-12 will get Utah. That's not going to happen again. Like, folks, if we see this seismic shift in college football happen right now, it's a power conference.
Yeah.
The Big 12 is not calling Boise State or Colorado State.
These are conglomerates. These are
big come fill these holes.
Yeah.
They're not calling SMU or Houston. Like, they're just going to say, you want to go to the SEC? How about instead of us losing you to the SEC, we all take our ball and go create a mega conference?
Yeah. But other sports suffer. I mean, these sports look at Arkansas. Arkansas was a powerhouse at one point. They joined the SEC. They're invisible now. I mean, you can say, hey, okay, we'll join in and we're going to make all this money and everything. But a lot of the traditions, what people don't realize, I mean, everything goes in cycles too. I mean, the cycle of the Southwest Conference back in the day with Arkansas, SMU, TCU, Baylor, Texas A&M. I mean, that was a mega conference back when, and there were some national championships coming out of there. Now you see teams like Arkansas getting swallowed up. A&M with their $75 million coach getting swallowed up in the SEC. Now, is A&M? Is there any prognosticators saying A&M could win the SEC? A&M is jealous of Texas, and so therefore they don't want Texas in the SEC. So they're going to use their political power to try to keep them out of the SEC.
And that's, you are correct. There's a ton of politics in this, but this is what has me worried for the first time, and why I'm actually starting to buy it, because I don't see this being what we saw in the past, where these conferences are just kind of filling holes, getting by, because the Big 12 is just going to merge. Like, they're not going to just allow the SEC to poach them and run away, and that is why you have to be proactive. If you're Craig Thompson, you can't change anything right now. If the power schools are going to make that move, so be it, but you got to be kind of in your back channels, talking to the other schools, saying, how does our football survive? Because there is a way. It's going to your point, there's going to have to be a new power structure in place. Like, the NCAA has zero power. Once Mark Emmert came out and said this model is archaic, and he publicly put that out there, the NCAA is dead. Like, it doesn't have any power anymore. So how do you save college athletics? Yes, I'm talking saving college athletics to the point where we have our March Madness, we have our other Olympic sports. We just talked with the softball coach that believes, and it's your job, she has to promote it, but they can compete. And you can compete in the other sports. You can compete in basketball, in soccer, with the big dogs and have a tournament. So how do you keep that model while progressing with name, image, and likeness, the opportunities that Olympic athletes are going to have as well, especially Joe Franklin, all those athletes, they can make some money with the championships they've won. How do you move forward with that and not allow these football programs to destroy college athletics from top to bottom?
Well, like I said before, that's why I asked Paul a question about the West Coast. I mean, things are regional. I mean, things work in cycles. I don't know if the cycle will ever come back that these teams have to go back to their region and play. Will it be financially or fiscally more sound to play in this region the majority of the time, as opposed to traveling like Micah comes in here about Texas. Is it a good idea for Texas to play on the East Coast all the time? Are they going to be like the NFL and just have their conferences, tied to a playoff, and then you play in a different region of the country? Who knows? I mean, it's just, maybe, it'll cycle back to the way it used to be. I don't know. The answer is obviously financial, and it's political. So we're going to see in the next few years how that works out, how that shapes up. You've got Notre Dame, you've got churches involved, you've got religion, you've got academia involved. Notre Dame, it's got its own TV deal. Texas has its own TV deal.
BYU sitting there.
BYU. And Utah, to me, being in the Pac-12, who are they in the Pac-12? They're really nothing in the Pac-12. People think that, okay.
Better than expected when it comes to football. Done all right. They've been in the Pac-12 championship game.
Yeah. But are they still, are they bigger than Arizona State? Are they bigger than, I don't know. You tell me. Are they bigger than Colorado? Are they bigger than Oregon State? Those are the teams that they have to be bigger than. I don't know if they are. I still see them as a Mountain West WAC team, but that's just me. That's just me. But Utah and BYU, what are they going to do? Are they going to still, pretend like they're these big superpowers and they're going to stay, independent, or are they going to, Utah's going to, vanquish? Are they ever going to be anything in basketball and baseball in the Pac-12? Will Utah ever, reach that status? I don't believe so. That's just me. But, there was a time when Arizona was in the Pac-9 with New Mexico. So, things cycle, and we're going to see if it cycles back.
Bring back the border conference.
Yeah, if you're going to bring those schools from Texas back, Arkansas, you're going to bring those teams that are west of the Mississippi River back west of the Mississippi River at some point, because of the travel, because of it's getting more, deep southeast oriented. Who knows? The country's reshaping. The migration of people are moving different parts of the country. So we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see.
I might be stretching. I might be stressing about college athletics right now. I need to take a deep breath, slow down. Hopefully it will be okay. But one thing I don't stress about is my workout. With F45 Functional Fitness, I know once I book my class, my spot is locked in, and I'll be able to go get a great workout in just 45 minutes. And that's one of the biggest things I enjoy, not just the atmosphere, the programs, the workout it puts you through, but the fact that when you download the app, you book your class, your spot is locked in. You're not going to show up and say, oh, I'm sorry, there's too many people here, you can't work out. That happens sometimes when you go to the gym. You finally get the time, you show up, and you're like, wait, this guy's spending how much time on the leg press doing calf raises? Get out of here with that mess. With F45 Functional Training, your spot is booked. You're going to have high-intensity training. You're going to push yourself. You're going to be doing workouts that are different day in and day out. You're going to find that you're going to hit a different fitness level than you did before. So check them out at f45training.com. Download the F45 app today. You can sign up for your 7-day free trial. Take a look at the schedule of classes. Classes are available 7 days a week. Get in and get going. And once you experience what 45 minutes can do for you, you're going to realize, well, it's great for my schedule and it's a great workout. So check them out now at f45training.com. Download the app. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45.
Foo Fighters are coming to Isleta Amphitheater August 9th.
A rogue virus. No jobs. Sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. DCE Systems want to help schools reopen and keep students, teachers, and staff safe. New Mexico's distributor of no-valent Shield Plus, an antimicrobial hand sanitizer that lasts 24 hours. That's right, 24 hours. 1 liter will provide approximately 2,000 individual applications. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to DCESystemsInc.com to learn more. DCE Systems is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Center fielder, Caden Bell on first. Here's the pitch to Heath. Struck him out. And great pitching by Alvarado. That'll do it for the Tigers in the top of the fifth. A great crowd for a mid-afternoon game. Swing and a miss, and there's a strikeout, number 5 for Matt Romero.
Smith talking to the batter here.
Oh, yeah.
Mike is trying to come in and smooth things over in that Texas gear. But he's pointing it out.
Burnt orange.
He's sitting there going, Texas is too good for the Big 12, but also acknowledging the junk we talked to Boise State for thinking they're too good for the Mountain West.
Right.
Sports, baby.
Sports. It'll get you. It'll get you.
It'll get you every time. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. JJ Buck, joined by Ned James. Steph, taking your calls, keeping us on track. So nice. Hasn't slapped me around just yet, but we're going to have a conversation at the end of the show. Like, bro, you know how many breaks that you blew up today? I know I got it. Quan's Auto Care hotline is 246-0610. And also, Ned's got some work to do, man.
Yes.
You got some relationships to handle at UNM because people heard you say.
I know.
That Coach Congleton was your favorite coach on campus.
I know, and I get around to all the coaches, and all the coaches are my favorite. But Paula's alumni. She's my alumni sister. I had to give her a shout out like that. I do visit her quite a bit. And Danny, he is quite younger. He is my alumni brother. He has to come and say because we're alumni, But there's lots of the soccer.
Heather, game to play. It's a dangerous.
You know I love you, Heather. You've done a great job in coaching me up. Her staff is what's really helped me. I go in there and bother. I haven't been. COVID really kind of, threw everybody off with not being able to get around and show love to the staff, the wonderful coaching
I need
staff
to break it
at
down.
UNM, baseball.
When you look
I can't rank. You can't put me to rank.
Speaking of
my favorites,
breaking down soccer, though, last night New Mexico United. ESPN2, they're at San Antonio. They lost 3-0. One of the worst games United has played this season. They were sloppy, plus San Antonio defending well equals a long night for New Mexico as they fall on the road. The thing with United right now, they're a one-trick pony. Set pieces are fantastic. They created a lot of opportunities from set pieces, but set pieces weren't on last night. So they weren't creating chances in open play. That's what this team has to figure out. Their identity is more possession-based, defend, create from the chances on set pieces. But that's only going to take you so far. That's not going to get you past El Paso, who comes in on Saturday. That's not going to get you to climb the table as you get later in the season. You got to develop something. And that's the biggest thing right now for New Mexico is creating chances in open play. Armando Moreno coming back. He's playing the Gold Cup right now for El Salvador. He's getting run with the team. He's been one of the first players off the bench for them. El Salvador advanced to the knockout rounds in the Gold Cup, so he's still going to be away from the team for a little bit. So he's going to help the attack when he comes back, but that's still only one player. And so they have to figure it out. They have some nice attacking pieces. What we're seeing Daniel Bruce and Josh Suggs do on the wings. Rivas, Martinez, kind of that combination up top, but they got to create better from open play to really take that next step this season. A rough night on ESPN2 for United. Quan's Auto Care hotline, 246-0610. Terry, you're on the opening drive. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Mr. Buck. Good morning, Mr. James.
Good
I
morning.
learned from Dion's interview yesterday. Just briefly, the gentleman who did that so-called interview, I guess if his journalism career fails, he can start a tribute band of 38 Special, but I digress. Onto the college football, I throw Notre Dame under the bus. when they decided they were better than everybody, it started this all hoopla. I thought, 15, 20 years ago, 7 or 8 12-team conferences would be great. Utah, BYU would have still been Mountain West.
Yes, I agree.
Nebraska, how well that's worked out in the Big Ten for them. Maybe Jerry Jones and Tom Osborne can get together and talk about how their teams were so good last century. But, I had to deal with my daughter being a soccer player. It was 9 years ago when the Big 12 almost got disbanded when Larry Scott was trying to recruit 4 teams to the Pac-12, and luckily that didn't work out then. But, the Big East was swallowed up and gone. Unfortunately, it might happen to the Big 12, and they get disbanded, but I don't like it for college sports overall because, yes, there's more than just football, and from that standpoint, it could be so regionalized, but if Texas leaves, power to them, but so what? Teams move on. I think the Big 12, if they survived, would get Houston. Maybe they could get Memphis, but there are going to be some teams on the outside that just kind of fall aside. Great interview with the softball coach. That's always nice. It's always a love of mine, the softball, but power to them. Power to anybody who gets to play in the Olympics. I think there's a young lady that actually went to Highland High School that's a pole vaulter. I don't know her name off the top of my head, but anybody that gets to be part of that competition is wonderful. So, Mr. James, enjoy your input the last couple of days. Mr. Buck, as always, you're great. So you guys have a good day. Take care.
Terry got in 2460610, and he does bring up a point. When we saw this happen, you might think you're in a good position. Kansas basketball almost didn't save them at that time.
Yeah. And it's interesting he brought up something that I've always thought, too, the Notre Dame thing. The Notre Dame, like he said, started the whole thing with this independence, with the network deal that they got from NBC. And it was all tied to the church. People can say what they want about religion and politics, but it's all a part of the whole deal. So that situation and how that's all transpiring and how the demographics of the Deep South, I think all that is in play, and I think it's going to take some legislation in order to save, because these guys have antitrust exemptions, and these are supposed to be academic institutions. Now, how that all plays into this development with sports and sports taking this, the center stage and being the front porch to the rest of the world and the rest of the country. This is how we do things. I don't know if we necessarily should go into that world, but that's the world we're living in. And, people are saying, hey, this is all about business. This is all about how much you can get out of the whole deal.
What other reason would it be? Like, what is Oklahoma and Texas not getting from the Big 12? Is it $5 more million, $10 more million in the SEC? Because those two schools seem like they're the ones that ultimately probably are running the Big 12. Yeah. Like, Texas has their own ESPN network. I don't know if anyone gets it, but they have it. Yeah. Oklahoma has been winning the conference, getting opportunities to play in the college football playoff. And if they do expand to 12, that opens the door for another team from that conference. So that's my main, what are they trying to do with this move? Are they just trying to shake down the conference for some more perks? Mm-hmm. Because making that jump, it doesn't mean necessarily more wins.
Yeah.
I guess if you make the jump to the SEC, it's a 16-team power conference. Are you looking at, well, if we lose 2 games in the SEC versus 2 games in the Big 12, we could still be an at-large team in a 12-team college football playoff? What is the benefit?
Right.
For Texas and Oklahoma
man,
right now.
You broke that down great, man. That was great. I mean, the benefit. What is the benefit? I mean, it's, I give Barry Switzer all the credit in the world because the guy said it 40 years. He says there used to be a time when Notre Dame was a fine academic institution, but now it's a bank. It's a financial institution. It's all about finance with these universities. Is Oklahoma, well, I should say, are the teams, Oklahoma and Texas, academic institutions, Or are they financial institutions? Is this all about the money? Is Alabama an academic institution, or is Alabama, an enterprise, a football enterprise? I mean, you have to distinguish the two. When people talk, it's just, it's funny because when you talk about college students, do you talk about them as if they are kids or they're young people, or do you talk about them as if they are these business entities? They're they're products of these enterprises. What do you? How do you?
When we're talking about
how
sports.
do you? I mean, are these students or are these athletes? What are we saying here? What are we doing? What are we doing?
We're trying to figure that out, and that is the $1 billion question: is it girls or money that run the world? It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Oh, wow. Nice, and that's an out.
What did I tell you? That gets over the head of the right fielder. That's going to bring in 2 runs. As Adrian Martinez with the RBI double.
Just towards the latter part. Pitch, and that's another way for a single. That's going to score 2. That makes the score 9-0. So RBI double. That's going to make it. That's it. It's 10 runs there.
1-0's the count. This one's high. It's going deep. And it's going to fall in. He's digging for third, and he gets there. Ezra Mestas with the 3-bagger. He gets the triple, and 2 more runs scored.
Steal to third base.
And he brought the hot sauce for strike 3.
Small ball team for Reed Fiegel this year. That one is hit on the line to left. It's going to send Avila back to the warning track, to the wall, and he's going to watch it go. It's a solo homer off the bat of Bo Kidd. One nothing Eagles. Just when we were talking about small ball, the Eagles play long ball. Good over with 2 outs here. That boy's well hit to left. Coming in on it is Morrison. He drops it, and the Ravens win it.
Repair has been serving Albuquerque for all things service and mechanical since 1934. At Leonard Tire and
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
A rogue virus. No jobs. Sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain...
Mountain West football preseason all-conference team. No surprise that Nevada has a strong presence on the offensive side. Carson Strong is your preseason Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year, the quarterback for Nevada. But he's got some dudes. Not only are we talking about Romeo Dubs, the wide receiver, Cole Turner at tight end is going to be a fantastic player. One Lobo made the list, and it was Jarek Reed. First team preseason all-defense Lobo safety, who was all-conference last year for New Mexico. Not too bad. 7 games played, 4 interceptions, 33 tackles for Jarek Reed. But Mountain West Media Days continue in Las Vegas. Jeff Siembieda will be back tomorrow. Really excited to see what he picked up from his conversations from everyone around the conference. Also, just what the tone is going to be like today, because we have the season on deck. The schedule's set. We're moving forward, but there's always that talking point of, what if? What does this mean? OU Texas stuff flirting with the SEC, all the walls that we have seen broken down when it comes to athletes and amateurism and the way these schools are handling things that open the door for the first time that actually all that hype, the speculation about a super conference could come to fruition. But until then, we got our preseason predictions. We got our preseason all-conference teams. Can't wait to see some Mountain West football. I think it's going to be good. What we saw in the West over the last few years has really helped elevate the Mountain West Conference with Nevada. San Jose State, your defending Mountain West champs. Mm-hmm. San Diego State's picked 3rd, and they've been the team that for the last few years, at least until last year, was just constantly winning the West. Well, you see those teams rising. Todd Graham in Hawaii were a 5-win football team in a short season last year. So the West is coming up bigger, and now the Mountain Division. It's on these teams to start chasing down Boise State.
Yeah, but the quarterback is the key here, and the quarterback is the issue. And some, the reason why the Mountain West is getting a little recognition around the country is because of the quarterback position. Like you said, with Carson Strong this year, we've got another visible guy that a lot of the teams around the country want to know more about, because he's predicted to be a high draft pick, potentially because of his performance last season. We're coming through a global pandemic, so things are a little, we're still in protocols for the season. So it'll be interesting to see how this season shakes out with more fans and still being in this pandemic. I'm curious to see how teams shake out with the super seniors. What's that?
We get non-conference play back.
Yeah.
Last year, all these teams, they did what they had to do for the most part when it came to football, shrinking the schedule, just playing conference games and then going from there. But we get New Mexico State out that University Stadium, which is going to be an awesome Saturday.
Yeah.
You get your other rivalry games, so it does add another layer back to the season this year. JJ Buck, Ned James, Steph, it's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. Quan's Auto Care Hotline, 2460610. Joe, you're on the opening drive. What's going on, Joe?
Hey, good morning. I wanted to say that was a good conversation at 9 o'clock with the UNM softball coach, and that's positive for our young ladies. I don't know if you guys know, West Mesa Little League is going to represent New Mexico in the Southwest Regionals this weekend on ESPN on the Longhorn Network.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That is great.
Yeah, so these girls are major softball from West Mesa. They're going to be playing Sunday, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, and the Little League is going to have a big car wash for them to help send them off. So, you know, if anybody's out there that would like to support West Mesa Little League and send these girls off to help them out, it'd be great. It'll be this afternoon at West Mesa Little League, 5300 Tucson Northwest.
All right, Joe. Appreciate that. Keep us updated. You can give us a call next week. Let us know what's going on. Appreciate the phone call, Joe. And best of luck to the West Mesa Little League major softball team.
I used to live in West Mesa when I was in school here, so I know the area.
Love to see that, and love those stories. And, you know, a lot of times, of course, we get caught up, yes, Division I athletics, pro sports, but always, like Joe called in, let us know. We are always here for those stories. If you want to let us know what's going on with your Little League teams making runs, we are here for that. So best of luck. And if you can't get out to that car wash, help them out as they head on to regionals.
Yeah.
Do what they can do.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. It's representing the land of enchantment. Represent West Mesa. Represent. That's what I want to see.
And it's great to see, and it's when you look at things like that, raising the level of play at the younger levels, then you get into high school, then that starts having the impact collegiately. And when you start developing more athletes, and I just love the opportunity because a lot of times, you know, that memory for some of those girls, you know, that might be where they kind of hit the ceiling. But they still have that opportunity, and it's wonderful, and it's just sport, getting back to it, the importance of sport overall.
But that's what you talked about. That's what made you so upset about these mega conferences. It's these minor sports that are going to get hurt by that. You know, these schools moving away, they're not getting as much visibility based on these teams kind of seceding from their territories and going elsewhere, and it being more about the big dollars and going into these mega conferences. And it's going to change how the Olympic sports are viewed. And, you know, softball will be one of those sports that can be affected by that. So, you know, it's just something that, you know, I think is important that we kind of take care of home first and then worry about that other stuff down the road.
Yeah, and we all see it, we live it, there's been a major gap in football. And that you're trying to say, hey, we can compete at this level year in and year out, it's going to be much more difficult for the Group of 5 programs. You want that opportunity, though. Like Danny Gonzalez, that Lobo football team, they go to Texas A&M. They want to take that challenge on head first. But we've seen that be much more difficult on a consistent basis because it ain't fair. Life ain't fair, but especially in college athletics. And that's going to be the challenge, really, the financial challenge of this when you start seeing athletic directors, presidents, conference commissioners speak out more so now than ever when they see the NCAA crumbling, saying, why are we doing the same thing that these other schools are doing? Like, why are they having just as much of a say in things when we are the big dogs? That's the thing to watch out for.
It's all tied to politics and money, so it's disgusting. You got to go take a shower now. We all have to take a shower after talking.
We'll reset. Get excited for tomorrow. Jeff Siembieda will be back from Las Vegas. As always, a big thank you to Ned James for coming in, hanging out for the last couple days. Steph, great work as always. Adrian and Aaron on ProView Networks. Big stuff going on. ProView Networks. Connie Mack World Series coverage. Ooh, are they going to be busy? We got the Jim Rome Show coming up next. Colin Cowherd follows that, followed by the Sports Bar at 4 o'clock. Everybody, Meta World, peace and love. Have a great day.